Welcome to
Oh yeah.
this is spread 36 now, so it's a lot of events. Welcome, familiar faces. As you might know, we've done a lot of personal finance stuff before, so this is continuing on that topic. Look at all our previous stuff if you want to see previous topics, but today we're talking about how to build our wealth. Carmen's going to walk us through the nitty-gritty details, and we get even more detailed if we want afterward. We'll be doing some hands-on stuff, looking at our own finances, so expect that. And yeah, I hope you guys are excited, thinking about things down the road, and not just making your money and spending your money. So thanks again for joining us, and here's Carmen.
Thank you, Stephen. I want to be fired, not fired. I definitely don't want my boss pulling me into his office on Monday morning and say, "Hey, it's your last day." Yeah, I definitely do not want that to happen, but I want to be fired. Does not work.
Oh, no, I got you. Bam.
Okay. Financial independence, retire early. And I first came across this term when I first got my job, and I was like, all right, I'm making money now, so I have to somehow manage my finances responsibly. I want to be, financially responsible. So started researching 401k, traditional versus IRA, traditional versus Roth IRAs, credit utilization versus credit score, etc., etc. And down the rabbit hole I went. I was watching a lot of YouTube videos, I was reading a lot of finance books, and I came across this term, financial independence, retire early. And what this is basically people who were able to retire early because they were able to, become financially independent. And it really attracted me because, when you're financially independent, you don't have to worry about money anymore. You don't have to be like, I have to stay at this job not because I love it, but because it makes me money. And it really gives you a lot more flexibility. Like if you want to work part-time or if you don't want to work at all, that's cool. And what really drew me to FIRE was I like that flexibility, but also I want to travel when I'm young and when I'm still able-bodied. So I want to go travel and I want to do all of those activities like bungee jumping or scuba diving or, just really active activities. So that's what really drew me into the FIRE movement. They call it a movement or a FIRE community. And that's how I started learning about financial independence. How can we reach this? How can I retire early? And the question we really need to ask ourselves in order to become FIRE is, how much money do I need to invest to live off of my returns? So let's break this run-on question down. How much money do I need to invest? So that is basically, I'm making money and I want to allocate a portion of it to my 401k or my brokerage account or buying a house for investment purposes, etc. And then to live off of my returns, whenever you, for example, buy a stock for $5 and then 1 year later it's $10, then your return is $5. Or, for example, if you're putting your money into a savings account, it gets you like 1 or 2%. That is your return. So how much money do I really need to save, to invest, to live off of my returns so that it doesn't affect the principal amount? So in order to do that, that's what we're going to do today. We're going to find out how much we need in order to retire, hypothetically. So the question to ask now is, okay, what is my annual expense? And basically what I did was I logged into my Chase account. That's the main bank I use. And then I pulled my January through December bank statements. And then I added all of it up in a Excel file and I categorized it because I'm a nerd and I like to see what my expenses are, what do I spend my money on. So here you'll see my 2021 expenses. I also did my 2020 expenses, which isn't shown here, but you'll see that a majority of my money goes to investments, and then filial piety, I call it, because I'm still living at home and I don't really have to pay rent, but I give money to my hypothetical landlords and extra money because I make money and I want to give my parents money. And then I also spend it on food. I love food, so that's why you see food as a third major expense, and so on and so forth. So this exercise is really good because it gives you a good idea of what you're spending your money on. So if you don't know, now you know. I spend a lot of money on food, and if I wanted to cut down my expenses, that maybe is one way I can do it. So after I added up my 2021 expenses and my 2020 expenses, I averaged the two, and I found out that, all right, on average, I spend $39,000 per year. So that's my annual average expense. So now I think this is a good group, so we're just gonna, stay in this room together. And then the Zoom people, you guys can talk amongst yourselves if you need to. But I want you to, pull out your bank statements and determine your average monthly expenditure by totaling up your past 12 months of expenses and then divide by 12 to get your monthly expenditure. And then also consider your other future expenses. So if you plan on having a child, Google what's the average expenses for childcare. If you're planning to buy a house, Google what's the average annual mortgage expenses. If you have a car and you're paying off the car, how much is that per month and per year? And then the second thing I want you to do is determine your current investment amount. So how much money do you currently have in your 401k, in your brokerage accounts, and then if you have a 403b, just add it all up. Any questions? Becca?
What type of investments did you include in your expenditures?
All
Like this
Are
one?
you including retirement?
Yeah.
And I don't know, just...
Yeah, 401k, and then my retirement account, and then my normal brokerage account. Yeah. Any other questions?
Well, I brought your computer.
Okay.
Mine is occupied.
Okay, so let's just take the next 20-25 minutes, also Zoom people, to do this exercise. And then we'll come back and we'll talk about it in a bit. So now that we've determined your annual expense, so now how much do we need? We're going to work backward. How much do we need to invest in order to make a passive income of, for me, it's $39,000, but it'd be your annual expense.
You skipped that bottom part on the previous slide.
Oh,
Make sure everyone has that right. It could be zero. It's fine.
Could be zero.
Just determine what you currently have invested
yes,
or available to invest.
yes. I skipped it, but make sure you have that because we need it for the calculations later. So now that we know that what our annual expense, we're going to work backwards and we're going to determine how much we need to invest in order to live off of just the returns. So I assumed for my modeling 5 to 6% market return. I don't know where I got the number from, but I'm pretty sure I read it was 5%. But then yesterday, Stephen pointed out, according to Investopedia, it's actually 10%. If you take the average annualized return since inception in 1962. So if you want to be optimistic, or just take the average 10%. I use 5%. My modeling's a little bit conservative, but that's fine.
I've always heard 7%.
7% return.
Yeah,
Yeah.
for stocks at least. But yeah.
Alright, you use 7%.
Yeah.
So, okay, so for mine, I said 5% of what is equal to 39,000. That equals to 780,000. And then I was like, okay, let's be even more conservative. What if I say 4% return? Then I would need 975,000. And let's just round it up to a very nice, neat number, $1 million. I need $1 million to generate a passive income of 39,000, assuming a 4% return. So now your turn. Take a minute. Just how much do you need to invest in order to make a return that equals your annual expenses? So basically, take your average annual expense and then divide it by
8%.
a percent, your expected rate of return.
I'll expect.
I'm getting
Is this
7%.
correct? I'll expect a. Yeah, I expect 7.
Oh no.
6.
I made 370,000.
Wait, that doesn't seem like a lot.
That's all I need. And then I'm set.
All right. Wait,
is
you
this
could achieve that
accurate?
in like
I don't know.
5 years or something.
I've been trying to save up at least 100K before I turn 30.
Nice.
I'm kind of on track, maybe.
Wait, am I doing it right?
Yeah, am I doing this right? That should come out.
Is it just my point?
I don't.
Point. Yeah, you got to do point
Ah.
0,
Divided by
whatever.
0.06 or 37.
Point 1 if it's 10%, and if it's 7%, 0.07.
Oh, mine's a pretty modest.
What is
Wait,
yours?
how much?
700K.
Oh, okay.
Wait, why would mine be less than yours?
Wait, what?
Mine is not. Can you go back
Well,
to the
because
formula?
your thing is bigger. Your annual expense is bigger. Mine is kind of small.
Well, wait, what?
Who
Wait,
has?
how much are you trying to
Who's getting
save?
their
I told you, I'm trying to save 53K. No, that's my expense.
Yeah.
That's your annual expense, 53K.
Is that
right?
your annual expense or yeah? Okay.
Annual expense. Shouldn't my number be bigger than yours? Because you arrived at $1 million, right?
Yeah, so take that 53K.
Well, you're using a different market return rate. I'm
No,
using
no,
4.
you gotta-
Oh, you're right.
Take that 53K, right? That's your annual amount
Expense.
that you're trying to. Yeah. So divide that by
And hers is
0.0.
only
Use
Oh.
4%.
It's because I use a higher percentage.
What do you use?
7.
Okay.
We're
Wait,
optimistic.
what's 0.07?
Optimistic. Okay.
Yeah.
So how much do you need?
755.
Oh,
Yeah.
all right.
Oh,
Yeah.
okay. So if I use the same percentage, mine will be bigger than yours.
Right.
Try with a 0.04%.
Alright,
Then maybe you'll get close to $1 million.
He'll be way past $1 million.
Sam.
Hey, Sam's here.
Oh, all right. Open.
Just in time.
Will me at the door.
Hello. All right. So I just want to do a quick reminder that there's a lot of assumptions here that I'm going to live like what I'm living right now, the way I'm living right now, which is living at home. I have no children. I have no house. I earn the same amount. I'll spend the same amount. Everything's the same. But in reality, I might have kids. I might have a house. I probably gonna get promoted, or I'm gonna jump jobs to a higher paying job, and I'm probably gonna spend more too because, when you have more money, you tend to spend more. So there's a lot of things that this model doesn't really account for, but keep that in mind. Okay, so how long would it take to save up to $1 million? Well, the government has this handy dandy online calculator which helps calculate the amount for me, or the year, how long it would take for me to save up $1 million. So I'm going to give you the link in just a bit. But basically, you're going to input your initial investment. So how much money do you currently have in your 401k, your traditional or Roth IRA, anything. Just put your initial investment. And also in your brokerage account. And then you're going to put your monthly contribution. How much are you contributing each month? The length of time, I assumed I'm going to do this for the next 30 years. And then interest rate, so that's your market return rate. I put 5% plus or minus 1. So you could put 7% plus or minus 1. And then assuming that we're going to compound it annually. So what I mean by compound it just means that we're going to reinvest the returns back into our investment. So we're not going to take the money out ever. We're just going to keep putting all of the returns into our investment. So, assuming my 15% of my income is going to go towards my investments, at year 22, I'm going to be a millionaire.
Hey.
Whoa.
So the blue line is 6% return, red line is 5%, and then green line is 4%. I'm looking at the green line because I'm just going to be very conservative and say 4% return, market return. So 22 years, that doesn't sound that bad because now I'm a millionaire and I can retire at 47. And that's actually really exciting. When I first did this modeling, I'm like, oh yeah, okay. Average retirement age is 65, 47. 47's not bad. And then I got so excited and I was like, all right, okay, I'm gonna commit. I'm gonna save up 50%. I'm gonna put it towards 50% of my income and I'm gonna put it towards my investment. So then I reran the model and now it says at year 12, I'm gonna be a millionaire. Not bad, not bad. I'm gonna retire at 37. That sounds pretty amazing. And I was ecstatic when I saw this number. And I'll just stay at home. I'll just, no kids. I'll just, just do me. Exactly the same what I'm doing right now. I can do this. So now I'm going to have you guys calculate how much time it would take you to save up to whatever your magic number is. Just go on Google and Google compoundinterestcalculator.gov and it should pull up this investor.gov website. So, okay, yeah, so for me, 37, not that bad. I was really ecstatic when I saw that I could potentially, hypothetically, retire at 37. But then I realized the IRS levies an additional 10% tax on top of, the normal tax you pay if you withdraw from your retirement accounts before you're 59 and a half. So, bummer. I can't retire at 39, or 37. 37. But after some more research, it is hypothetically possible to withdraw from your retirement accounts before you're 59 and a half and not incur this penalty fee. And I'm not going to go into it because it's a lot of information, but know that it is possible. It is possible. People have done it. So I kind of wanted to leave you guys with my takeaways. Takeaway number 1, compound interest is our friend. Saving even a little bit of money and investing it will get you returns, and then your returns will get you more returns. So essentially a snowball effect will happen when you start saving early, and your money makes money without you having to do anything, which is awesome, right? It's free money. All you got to do is commit to putting that money away into investment account. Number 2, models are built on assumptions. So I assumed a lot of things. I assumed that I can maintain my current living style. I assumed that I have no kids, I have no house. Yes, I assumed a lot of things. However, the past few years, I realized that I do want kids and maybe I do want a house, and I maybe, there's a lot of things that will change. So models are only as good as your assumptions, whatever your inputs are into the model. And that's okay because you can always rerun your model based on your updated figures. So, I can just rerun my model and figure out how much I need in order to retire based on that new input. And finally, I may not be retiring at 37, but I can set myself up for success, and we can all be, we can all reach our magic number, and it's possible. It's not like a far off goal that you may never reach. Like, we just did this exercise, and it's going to take 15 or maybe 20 years or whatever, but we can all reach that number. It's kind of crazy because I thought, like, $1 million, that's crazy. I'm never going to be a millionaire. But then after this exercise, I realized that, yeah, I actually can be a millionaire. And it doesn't have to be anything crazy like winning the lottery or starting my own business and having that business become successful. Like, we can all do it through just commitment and time. So I may not be reaching FIRE, but I can be FIRE, financial independence, retire enthusiastically. And with that, I wanted to open it up to you guys and thank you. And see, like, what are your thoughts after doing this exercise and stuff?
My thought is like, do you even want to retire at age 37?
Mhm.
Right.
What are you gonna do instead?
I'm gonna travel.
Yeah,
Okay.
the answer is whatever I want.
Okay.
Yeah, if you want to travel, that means your lifestyle will change.
Yeah,
and
Yeah.
change the number.
Yeah.
You
Well,
can
as
only
long-
do what you can't doing right now
Right.
at age 37.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I just have to fix my my model and just update my expenses a little bit more.
Yeah.
But theoretically, if I travel and I go to like a lower cost country, like, it's probably possible to live off of just like my current returns.
What lower cost country?
India,
Thailand,
Southeast Asia.
yeah, Southeast Asia.
Literally, like, move anywhere away from that stuff.
Or anywhere else in America.
Yeah.
Just get the RV.
Oh yeah, that'd be
That's
so
my
fun.
retirement plan. Get the RV.
There you go.
Yes.
Wow.
let me hop on. Let me tag along, please.
An RV. We could all get an RV community.
Oh yeah.
Yes.
That'd be fun.
RV would be fun.
Actually, Kim brought up also, like, she also told me when she saw the event, she's like, oh, I don't plan on retiring, and I'm like, yes, like, I want you to be a yoga teacher forever so I can take your yoga classes forever. And then I kind of thought, and Stephen brought up the same question, like, okay, so what if you don't want to retire early? Is doing this exercise still, is it still important to do this kind of thinking? And I think it is. It just gets you to think more about financial management, because what happens if you're older and you get some health problems? Saving saving a pot for yourself in case of those emergencies is a good idea. Yeah.
To me, it's about options, right? Whatever role you're in, the idea that you can't stop doing that, or you can't speak up, or like your boss is doing something wrong, you can't say anything because you're gonna lose your job. That just feels really bad to me. So I just want the freedom to do whatever I want. I want to work this job. I'm gonna work the job, but if I don't like what's going on, I can say something, right? Instead of like, oh, I'll just put my head down. I gotta feed the kids or whatever. To me, that's like not a good position to be in. So it's important to have that money in your pocket.
Yeah. I dig that.
Do folks see themselves retiring in San Francisco or going somewhere else? Because the cost of living is your formula is much easier to retire if you move.
Honestly, it's not about the cost of living in San Francisco. It's the environment.
Environment.
Yeah.
Like quality of life.
Yeah. It's toxic.
Toxic.
Yeah.
Why do you think it's toxic?
I love my city.
It's like there's so many additional laws and regulations in San Francisco,
Oh, right.
and homeless people, the low income community.
Wealth inequality.
Yeah.
If I move anywhere else,
Yeah, where would you go, sir? Just curious.
Our city, man. Go.
Castro Valley.
I might follow you, bro. Where are we going?
right now I'm actually thinking of looking around real estate around Castro Valley.
East Bay, right?
Yeah.
East Bay.
So it's like cost of living there is lower. Annual expense for the mortgage is lower. Like property tax and everything is lower. More land, more quiet.
Is that
better
property
sooner.
tax? It's the same.
No.
Right?
San Francisco is not. San Francisco is 1.1%,
Right.
and Castro Valley is 0.76.
Oh, okay.
So you say like almost 5%.
What? Point
On
25.
0.5%.
Okay.
But that is like
It's significant.
$60,000 a year.
That's
Yeah.
a,
Yeah.
Yeah.
right.
That's a lot.
Yeah, it's like your rents just dropped down $6,000 to $8,000 to the government.
Yeah.
Yeah. Because
What are
buying
you
a
gonna
house
do?
essentially you paying rents too.
Right.
Yeah.
Actually, one of the books that I was reading, they made the claim that a house isn't a good investment.
Yeah, it's still
And
good.
part of their reason why is because of first, property tax is, you're basically, it stays at the same rate. It's not like if you're investing, depending on what you invest in,
Mhm.
your taxes are taxed different. So for example, if you invest in stocks and it's qualified dividend returns, then that's taxed at a lower rate than something like your interest from savings or bonds.
Mhm.
And also apparently they said that expenses from a house actually add up,
Like
maintenance and stuff like that, and like overall in the long run it might not be the best investment. So that's something that
Well, it
kind of
also-
shocked me
yeah.
when they said that.
It also depends on where you buy the real estate. You have to look at the ROI.
Yeah.
Oh
You
yeah,
know,
yeah.
If the ROI is low, then yeah, probably not a good idea. But
Yeah.
if you're buying an ROI high location, then yeah. I mean, it's like my house, I have it for 7 years. If I sell it right now, I can make like $400,000, $500,000.
Where did you live then?
Huh?
Where did you live then?
If it's
Castro,
up to me, I move out of state.
Castro Valley.
Out of state?
If it's up to me, I move out of state. But it's my girl, my parents want to stay around here, so.
Taxes are higher out of state though. Property taxes.
Depends where you go.
Sure.
No taxes.
Huh? Where are you gonna go?
Huh?
Right. California is one of the lowest
Lowest.
property taxes.
Utah,
You wanna go to Utah?
Salt
though?
Lake
Yeah.
City.
Salt Lake City.
Salt Lake
Salt Lake
City.
City,
I can't follow you to Utah.
You're gonna go. You're gonna go.
zero tax,
Mormons.
nada. You know, you get like 5 acres of land for like $400,000.
That's
Those-
true.
Those Mormons are gonna look
But
at
there's
you
less
funny.
Chinese restaurants there.
Yeah, there's no.
That is true.
Right.
You can't dim sum.
Okay.
Yeah, you go over to Boba Shop.
There's the culture over
Oh
there.
yeah.
Panda Express, I guess.
We gotta take over that anyway.
Everywhere.
Eventually, give me the
Everywhere.
10-15 years. Yeah.
Yeah.
Texas is almost done.
Tax,
We
taxes,
invaded
yeah.
already.
but taxes
Invaded.
probably.
We invaded it. Look at it. It's like, well now I think it's like 35% Asian now. Asian community.
In Utah?
Taxes.
Certain parts.
Yeah, certain parts. Yeah.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah.
Oh,
There's
Texas.
plenty of moving in
I
for the
see.
past few years.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Worst thing about Texas is the property tax in Texas. It's bad.
What is it?
Oh.
It's very high, and it goes. There's no limit on how much it can go up.
Mhm.
A lot of people regret buying in Texas.
Also, it's hot.
Yeah. And it's
Also, the power grid's fucked
Oh,
up.
and the
yeah,
power
they've
grid.
got a weird little island of power grid that's really
The
susceptible.
last year when it snowed, the whole thing down.
Yeah, it was like when it was cold, the power went out. When it was hot, the power went out. So like,
Also, politics. I guess.
Right.
That's
yeah,
very
it's a
sweet.
little problematic.
Yeah.
I mean, Bay
Abortion is
Area
not-
has its good, but it all has its bad.
All I know is that my supervisor was telling me all about his new house and how much money he's having to dip into his long-term savings in order to pay for some of the basic maintenance.
Where's
Or
his
just
house?
upgrading the heater because there's no more gas heaters that are allowed.
Oh yeah.
Or at least at a certain point, you're not going to be able to get a gas heater anymore.
Oh yeah. yeah.
Probably after that, you're probably going to have to upgrade your gas heater. They're probably going to force you to at some point.
Yeah.
Electric
San
stove.
Francisco,
Yeah, to an electric.
in 2025, new house development is
No more
gonna be no
gas.
gas,
Yeah.
all electric. So electric stove, electric
Very
heater, electric
eco-friendly.
heater.
That's good. I don't want to like explode.
Yeah, I don't want the earth to explode.
Yeah,
Carbon
I'm
monoxide.
actually thinking about
How
converting my
often
current
is
house
it
to
explode?
electric food heater.
Electric.
Yeah.
Me too. I want solar in mine.
Yeah.
Well,
Still
they
waiting
just
for the
passed a
city to
bill.
approve.
Oh, that's good.
I have the appointment already,
Oh.
but the permit is getting approved, and then once that approved.
For
then-
solar panel?
Yeah.
Are you
What
buying
bill did
or
they pass?
Are you leasing or what?
Huh?
Oh, the climate
I don't
bill?
know, but
Is it federal government
Oh, the
where they reimburse you for
Inflation reduction.
electrical vehicles and
Oh.
also solar panels?
some
or
2 million left for that. Yeah.
No,
unless they
no,
got
the
some
new-
one.
They
the
renewed
new-
it. They renewed
renewed
it
it?
for 10
This
years.
bill is the renewal
Yeah.
of that.
But
Yeah.
they made it more. They made green energy more.
But it's gonna be
attractive.
less rebate and stuff too though.
Less.
Yeah, because I don't know if the rebate side got revised or not, but based on the old information I obtained in my brain is 2025 is no more rebate on solar panel. Because then the people is already adapted to it, so they don't have to give you money
Yeah.
to sell you the panel. So,
Yeah.
I know like the new federal bill that just passed. What was it called? Like just
Inflation
yesterday. Yeah, Inflation Reduction.
Inflation Reduction Act.
It's like you'll get rebates for electric vehicles.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Electric
it's not long.
stuff.
electric vehicle purchase only.
It might be solar
Not all.
too.
I think
Yeah,
it was
so-
solar.
Yeah, I know, I get solar
Oh, okay.
rebate. I get 26% back.
26.
Are you buying?
Wait,
or
that's
are you
so good.
buying?
That's a lot.
Buying?
Yeah, 26. That's good.
So-
Never
5% back.
They never lease solar panel.
Why?
The lease is 30 years. After 38, they don't take it down. They leave it there until you go out.
What's wrong with that? That means you own it.
No, the power goes into their company because you no longer owns the solar panel. So the whatever solar panel produce is under your business, and then it's using your property to make the power.
Wait, really?
That does not sound.
Yeah, that was
Are you
it.
sure?
Yeah, because
When is
that's,
that?
it depends on which one though, because you see all those ads that free solar panel and they give you money.
Oh.
Yeah.
Those are the catch.
That's the
They
scam.
get to use it after your turn,
Yeah.
so it's like an agreement. So I give you for free. You use it for certain years. After that, we get to use your roof. to
Yeah,
stage our panels.
Your roof is now their roof
Yeah.
forever.
What?
Yeah.
That's why I just do.
Well, what
purchase.
company said that to you? So that's clearly a bad deal, but what,
Yeah.
what company was it?
I don't remember because I just went away to those
Mm-mm.
company, and then I went with Sun Power, which is most expensive one.
Mm.
But they have the best quality panel.
Well, they're getting so cheap. It's gonna be, solar panels are getting so cheap. I feel like it's gonna come standard with a lot of houses
Yes.
in the future.
It really depends on which one. Because I had two quotes. Sunrun quote me like $60,000 for the same amount of panel, and Sun Power is 90.
Damn, you went to 90?
Yeah, I went at 90.
Because they're
Because it produce almost half more wattage.
Oh.
Mm. I mean, it's an investment, and I think it's a good investment
Yeah.
to make.
Yeah. This is like I look at it. $400 I pay solar company for 20-year lease. I mean finance. $400 a month compared to paying $400 to PG&E. Maybe 600 soon.
What was your electric before, anyways?
400 something.
Or damn. I don't know what mine is.
Well, because this month they just upped it. I don't know how much this month gonna be.
How many people are in your house? I'm just curious.
6.
Okay.
Because I don't know. You guys probably don't see the electricity bill.
No.
I get all the mail. Yeah, because
Has to go through Samuel.
off. I mean, on peak hour, you know,
Right,
4
40
p.m. to
40
9
to
p.m.
9. Yeah.
Now it's $1.15 per watt, and then off peak hour is 31 cents.
Wow.
Yeah.
It's like light candles.
So, but
Until 9
you
p.m.
know, it's like
My
yeah,
parents tried to be like, don't use the computer from 4 to 9 p.m.
Alright, that's hard.
That's
yeah.
Like, that's like peak computer time.
I just don't do laundry
Yeah, we
from
went to
40
the bar.
Yes.
Yeah. Do you guys want to eat lunch?
Mm.
Sure.
Um,
I made you some chicken.
Alright,
Oh,
guys.
yes.
Thank you for attending.
No wonder I was like, why does he